Young girls with big dreams, working long and hard for a shot at Olympic glory. They put their training and their trust in the hands of top coaches, only to be betrayed in a most intimate and destructive way.
Tonight, a scandal unfolds. Dozens of highly regarded swim coaches across the country guilty of sexual misconduct with vulnerable young girls. But what happens when these coaches are caught? Chief Investigative Correspondent Brian Ross reports.
Broadcast around the world, the ultimate athletic accomplishment. The Olympic Games serve as a powerful lure for so many young men and women.
Is she gonna have enough? Yes!
It was always a dream of mine to make the Olympics.
And thousands of young teens do all they can to live that dream, working their way up through local and state and national competitions put on by USA Swimming, the governing body of the Olympic team.
There's nothing like the moment before you step on the blocks.
No sport requires greater sacrifice and effort.
Kids who aren't disciplined and who don't enjoy hard work and early morning practices don't last too long in this sport. It's a sport that takes a lot of work.
And it also takes the right coach. Someone, so swimmers and parents thought, like Brian Hinson of Kokomo, Indiana, one of dozens of USA Swimming coaches whose coaching skills have helped to hide a dark secret.
He was a very good coach as far as making swimmers faster.
Brooke Tafniger was a high school swimming star in Indiana. She and her parents say they put their trust in Coach Brian, hoping he could help her make the Olympic trials and earn a college scholarship.
You trust what your coach is telling you because they're your coach. You just kind of do what they say.
So Brooke never really questioned why her coach steered her to a special locker and shower area. It turns out that Hinson had placed hidden cameras in the locker rooms of 2 pools where he coached and secretly videotaped Brooke and other girl swimmers in the nude as they changed and showered. Brooke's mother and father were called by police and FBI agents to identify their daughter in the hidden locker room camera shots.
I saw my daughter, and I gotta tell you, it hurt.
Coach Brian Hinson was sentenced to 33 years in prison in a case that a 2020 investigation has found is far from unique in the world of American swimming. In the last 10 years, some 36 swim coaches, including Hinson, have been banned by the USA Swimming Organization because of sexual misconduct, including these men, a rogues gallery of swim coaches who have brought a huge black eye to the sport.
I've been coaching for 27 years, and this has been an ongoing problem for all 27 years of it.
For all 27 years?
Absolutely.
Come on, go!
Ken Stopcotti, swim coach of the year in Indiana last year, says the problem of coaches' sexual misconduct with young swimmers is no secret in the sport.
What you're describing seems to be a culture of sexual misconduct? Coaches, swimmers?
There is. It's out there, and it's. I don't feel like it's ever been addressed, and I don't feel like I don't feel like it's been taken very seriously.
Stopcotti says he was told by the state swimming board not to speak about the issue to reporters. And a few hours after our interview, he was told he had been put under investigation for allegedly changing the times for some of his swimmers, which he denies and says is meant to silence him.
I was putting them at risk and by speaking out, and was inappropriate as a board member of Indiana Swimming.
You were told essentially to shut up?
Yeah.
Stopcotti says the sex abuse problem is made worse by a lack of thorough background checks, which allowed many of the now banned coaches to move from town to town even after being found out.
They realize the posse's on their way to get them, and they get out of Dodge.
That's what happened in the case of this highly respected USA Swimming coach, 62-year-old Andy King. Authorities say he had more than a dozen young teen female victims before a brave 14-year-old girl finally turned him in last year.
He may have been a very good swim coach, but his ultimate goal with many of these girls was to molest them.
San Jose, California prosecutor Ray Mendoza says King was a monster who moved up and down the West Coast before being caught.
He had almost every conceivable sex act. It ran the whole gamut of sexual offenses.
Authorities believe King's crimes go back decades to the 1980s, beginning in the East San Francisco Bay Area.
It started when I was 11.
Deborah Denethorn was one of Andy King's star swimmers and ultimately one of his at least 15 victims.
At first it was a hug, and then it was a caress, and then it was a kiss, and then it was a deeper kiss, and it would slowly escalate.
And did it evolve into a full sexual relationship?
It did. It did.
At how old were you?
I was 15 and a half when I had intercourse with him.
Denethorn says other parents suspected, but no one stepped in, and she was afraid to reveal their secret.
He would say, you know how important it is that you keep this a secret, because if you don't, you won't be able to swim anymore. And that terrified me. That was my passion and my love, and it was what I lived for.
Next, King moved north, following the family of one of his teen victims, hired as a coach for the swim club in Oak Harbor, Washington, outside Seattle. Over the next 4 years, parents began to complain of his behavior, letting the girls sit on his lap, touching and sending roses to swimmers. When the parents scheduled a meeting with King about their concerns, he again left town.
In my mind, he got tipped by someone up there, because literally overnight, he handwrites a letter, resigns, and he is gone.
Back to California, where the sexual abuse continued. Yet in 2008, he was given a clean bill of health by the USA Swimming Organization. Congratulations, they wrote. Your background screening has been thoroughly reviewed and meets the standards set by USA Swimming. A review, it turns out, which involved only a check for criminal convictions, no background interviews.
It was woefully incomplete. A simple phone call to Oak Harbor, his prior stop, or to the East Bay would have revealed much about this man's propensity to abuse and molest kids.
It wasn't until this 14-year-old high school freshman came forward to her youth pastor that King was finally stopped.
When he started to molest you, how old were you?
13.
She asked that we not show her full face and call her by the name of Denise.
It was disgusting. At first I was in shock. I thought to myself, what is he doing? Well, I knew what he was doing was wrong, and I hated it so much. I wanted to cry.
According to police reports, King took Denise to this shed where he would fondle and massage her breasts.
It was like I was bottling up all my feelings of stress and anxiety and anger, and I couldn't take it anymore.
Once Denise went to police, others also came forward, including a woman who said she had an abortion after King got her pregnant at the age of 14. Earlier this year, Andy King was sentenced to 40 years in prison. But the case now raises lots of questions for USA Swimming. King's lawyer says some of the responsibility belongs to the swimmers' parents, whose ambition for their children may have blinded them to the problem.
I think Mr. King bears enormous responsibility here. But I think the parents were not minding the store, Brian. I think had they been minding the store, had they been watching what was going on with their own children, this opportunity never could have presented itself.
But parents in San Jose, California and elsewhere say they were let down by USA Swimming, which could have and should have done more to discover and check out King's background.